Hi everyone! In this video I am playing around with some alcohol markers in my regular sketchbook. Since doing this, I had tried the markers out on some other types of paper, and it appears that they do much better on smooth Bristol. So I contemplated whether or not I would even upload this video, but I figured it'd be good for a comparison, and also in case you guys were maybe having similar issues or similar ponderings about which type of paper to use with markers. Yes, they do sell paper that is specifically for markers, called marker paper, I guess, and marker paper pads. This particular brand of markers is the OHUHU brand. OHUHU. That is such an awkward word for me to say, and I think I've heard it said like 5,000 times on YouTube. And it's even awkward to hear. I don't know. It's just a word thing for me. But yeah, anywho, this particular doodle sketch session was a big eye-opener because I really liked some of the aspects that I was getting from the sketchbook paper, but the part that really bothered me that I wasn't sure was something I could correct until I switched papers was how once you lay down the marker, it tends to continue to bleed in a very slow way, if that makes sense, and kind of creates a little bit more of a patchy finish, and you struggle a little bit more on the regular sketchbook paper. I did use a piece of plastic or acetate 9x12 size behind this piece of paper so it wouldn't bleed onto my next page. And I noticed I did not need, I said that weird, I did not need to do that with the Bristol. There are a few different types of Bristol. I also didn't realize this until I purchased it quite by accident, and it was a happy accident because it turns out smooth Bristol is exactly what you want to use for markers. I did have vellum Bristol in my last sketchbook that I used for mostly gouache painting, and it has a different sort of finish on it. It's not as smooth. It has like a velvety type of texture to it. I did think that is what I repurchased, but it turns out that it was the smooth Bristol, and I was about to return it and realized I'm going to try the markers on it, and it was exactly what the markers needed. So I did post that one. It's on my community post, where I was really kind of just more focused on the hair rendering, and I noticed that the blending was a lot easier and smoother. It had more of a diffused finish, and the marker definitely did not bleed even nearly as much as it does on this paper. Now, I will say that the markers turn out darker on sketchbook paper than they do on the Bristol. That might be like from what I said earlier about how it bleeds into the paper and just creates this kind of deeper, darker look to the ink. But yeah, another testimony to the different types of paper that create different effects with your supplies, whether it be paints or pens or markers. It's just an interesting kind of fact. You really have to combine your supplies in certain ways and figure out not only what works together, but how you can create different effects by pairing different things. So I also, for this particular sketch. Wasn't really satisfied near the end about how some of the colors that I layered over each other got darker and patchier. Was okay, like near the eyes and stuff, but once I did the contours or the cheek blush or whatever you want to call that, some of the areas where even the lighter color overlapped got darker than I wanted it to in the wrong spots. So like as you are going more toward the jawline and the ear, you kind of want your contour or your cheek hollows to get darker and then lighter toward the front as your cheeks kind of, get to that rounder part. But it kind of had the opposite effect and kind of made it look like she had like little sunburn patches on the front of her cheeks. So I have discovered that one of the ways I do actually like to use colored pencil would be to correct things like that and use lighter colors. Like I tend to use the Derwent Drawing Chinese White because it's a really opaque colored pencil. It's probably the whitest, besides I guess a lot of people argue that the Caran d'Ache Luminance White or the Prismacolor White are the whitest. But I think that Derwent Chinese White Drawing Pencil is the whitest. And it worked for this. So I did include an additional picture at the end of this video, whereas after I finished filming the video and I was taking pictures and noticed that patchiness that I spoke of, I did not like, so I did smooth it out with the Chinese White pencil. And like I said, this is just doodle. This was me just trying to figure out the ways that the markers would act on this paper. There was also, prior to me labeling these markers with the names across the body of the marker so that I could see what colors I was grabbing, I hadn't done that yet for this video, so I just grabbed colors based on value, not really on tone, and hoped for the best. So this is random color selection by value, and that rose that I was just doing at the bottom there just happened to be, I think it was some type of reddish or orange, maybe a browner version of that, but it was a little too deep for what I was going for value for the rose. So I just kind of moved on and ended up just throwing like a peach or a yellow color over this line work of the roses on the top. Again, just trying to see how that would blend and if it would bleed out some of that darker color and mix in with the lighter color, and really just seeing what would happen. But as always, I will sometimes record something and see if it just so happens to be something that someone else could learn from, or at the very least be entertained by my random and impulsive art inspiration. So with that, I will leave you guys to I guess spectate the rest of this video. I don't know. I've kind of had a long day at this point, so words are not friends sometimes. So yeah, as I was saying, I hope you have a good rest of your day, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye. Bye.